recorded video for your topic, financial statements for small and medium-sized enterprises. So let's start. So financial statements for SMEs or small and medium-sized enterprises. What's the difference? Why are we studying financial statements for SMEs? So before, ang preparation lang po ng financial statements is what you have learned in your intermediate accounting and in your basic accounting. Wherein full PFRS po yung ginagamit natin. When we say full PFRS, fina-follow po natin yung pag-prepare ng mga public listed entities. So basically, when you say full PFRS, it is applicable sa mga publicly listed entities. Okay? So we define first what are small and medium-sized enterprises or SMEs. So when we say SMEs, they do not have public accountability and they publish general purpose financial statements for external users. When you say they do not have public accountability, ibig pong sabihin is hindi po sila nag-issue ng debt or equities instruments sa market. Okay, so we have learned in your accounting that para makakuha ng capital ang entity, nagbebenta sila ng equity or kumukuha sila ng utang sa public. Okay, so kapag ganun po yung ginagawa ng isang company, ibig sabihin meron siyang public accountability. Second, the entities in the process of issuing debt or equity instruments for trading in public market. So, ibig sabihin, they are selling stocks. Okay? Naka-publicly listed sila. Letter C, the entity holds assets in a fiduciary capacity for a broad group of outsiders as one of its primary businesses. So um, pag sinabi po nating fiduciary capacity based on trust and confidence. So for example, kayo po ay mag-i-invest sa SM Group of Company. Okay? Marami kayo. Okay? So ibig sabihin, you are investing your money to SM Group of Companies. Si SM Group of Companies, sila po for the meantime yung magmamanage ng inyong business at mag-hold ng inyong pera para ipag-grow yun, right? However, they are accountable to you for earning profits or for holding your hard-earned money. So in that way, makikita ninyo na may fiduciary capacity na hinuhold po si SM sa kanyang mga investors. Hence, meron siyang public accountability. Okay. Okay. So, gaya nga nung nabanggit ko, when we say full PFRS, lahat po ng accounting policies that are defined in your PFRS ay sinusunod. While for PFRS for SMEs, selected lang po. Mamaya pupunta tayo sa paano ba natin paano ba natin kinakategorize kung full PFRS ba or PFRS for SMEs. Okay, so yung handout ninyo, maganda yung pagkakagawa ng handout ninyo because it provides you differences as to how to prepare full PFRS accounting at saka PFRS for SMEs. Okay. So, teka, wala yung balik tayo. Okay. So, when we are talking about SMEs, sino-sino ba tong mga SMEs na to? So, in your handout, page 1, the Securities and Exchange Commission identified kung sino nga ba tong small and medium enterprises. So, sila po yung may mga assets between 3 million and 350,000 or with liabilities between 3 million and 250,000. Pangalawa, they are not required to file financial statements under SRC Ruling 68.1 or sila po yung may mga assets at least 50 million pesos or have 200 or more holders. Letter C, they are not in the process of filing financial statements to issue any class or instruments in a public market. Letter D, it's not a holder of secondary license issued by regulatory agencies. And they are not as operating as a public utility. Okay? So, kasama din po sa SMEs yung tinatawag nating micro-business entities. So, sino ba 'tong mga micro-business entities na 'to? Ang mga micro-business entities, they have total assets or liabilities that are below 3 million pesos. So, itong micro-business entities na 'to, they have the option to use full PFRS for SMEs and on another acceptable basis for accounting. Pag PFRS for SMEs, again, ang micro business entities, mas mababa sila sa SMEs natin. Pag SMEs naman kasi, ang option lang nila dalawa. Either you prepare your financial statements to full PFRS or mag-prepare ka ng financial statements, PFRS for SMEs. So you still have the option to use full PFRS. Okay? So what are the exemptions from PFRS for SME? So ano po sinasabi nito? Ang sinasabi po nitong exemptions is SME ka, pero hindi ka dapat gagamit ng PFRS for SMEs. So kailan yun? Ibig sabihin, 'pag exempted ka, ang gagamitin mo, full PFRS pa rin. Okay, bakit? Um, bakit? Because of the following, ano ba 'to, criterias. Okay, number one, you are a subsidiary or a parent. So kapag subsidiary or of a parent ka, subsidiary of a parent, ibig sabihin anak ka ng mas malaking company, you will follow full PFRS. Bakit? Because, you will learn this in your business combination. Kasi po, kapag ikaw po ay subsidiary ng parent, your financial statements will be consolidated. Okay? 'Pag parent ka, usually malaki kang company. So magfo-full hindi ka na considered as small and medium enterprise. So kung iko-consolidate natin yung financial statement ng subsidiary and parent, dapat apples to apples yun. Pareho sila ng ginagamit. Full PFRS. Hindi puwedeng gagamit yung subsidiary ng accounting for SMEs tapos yung isa full PFRS. Hindi puwede yun. Okay? So, 1, 2, and 3 are all subsidiaries. Yung isa, parent company, subsidiary of a parent company. Yung 2 and 3, subsidiary of a foreign company. And yung number 4, its short-term projections show that it will breach the quantitative threshold set in the criteria of SMEs. So, yung nabanggit po kanina natin sa page 1 ng inyong handout, those are yung criterias na nakaset for SMEs. So kapag in a foreseeable future, yung assets mo ay tataas ng 350 million pesos or magkakaroon ka ng liabilities lagpas ng 250,000 pesos, you will know there is a chance pa lang, kumbaga, nafo-foresee pa lang kahit hindi pa nararating, pwede ka nang gumamit ng full PFRS. Number 5, it is a part of a group, okay, as an associate. Okay, ang associate naman, napag-aralan niyo na 'yan sa inyong previous accounting na dapat meron kang more than 20% share, okay? So kung ikaw ay part ng group, you are also required to use full PFRS. If it is also a branch of a foreign entity, it has concrete plans to conduct initial public offering within the next 2 years. Yung number 7, required kang gumamit ng full PFRS kapag ikaw ay you have the intention to do initial public offering. Ano nga ba yung initial public offering? When we're talking about initial public offering, magbebenta ka ng stocks sa market. Okay? So, ikaw ay dating privately listed or hindi ka nagbebenta ng stocks. You are a corporation pero hindi ka nagbebenta ng stocks. But, in the next 2 years, you plan to sell for additional capital. So, dapat gumamit ka na rin ng full PFRS. Kasi 'di ba, ang category natin kanina, dapat um, para para mag-qualify ka for PFRS for SMEs, you do not have public accountability. Kapag ikaw ay nagkaroon or nag-conduct ng initial public offering, magkakaroon ka na ng public accountability because you are selling to the public na eh. So, it is better na gumamit ka na kahit hindi mo pa nararating or hindi mo pa nagagawa yung initial public offering, papunta ka na rin dun eh. Okay? In short, nafo-foresee mo na papunta ka na sa initial public offering. Magkakaroon ka na ng public accountability. So, you switch to full PFRS na lang. Number 8, it has a subsidiary that is mandated to report under full PFRS. It has been preparing financial statements using full PFRS and has decided to liquidate its asset. So from the very beginning, kasi po, ang PFRS for SMEs, nag-start lang po yan, I think 2009 onwards. Okay? So kung before, existing na yung company mo at gumagamit ka na ng full PFRS at nag-decide ka na i-liquidate yung assets mo, when you say liquidate, magsasara ka na. Kasi wala namang company na nagle-liquidate pero hindi pa magsasara. Okay? So you should use your full PFRS na i-continue mo na. Okay, na-discuss natin to kanina. So here naman, ito po yung mga differences between a full PFRS application and under SMEs. So isa-isahin natin. So under your financial statement presentations, number 1, hindi po required na mag-present ka ng additional balance sheet kapag meron ka pong changes in accounting policies, 'di ba? Kapag meron tayong changes in accounting policies, kailangan i-apply natin retrospectively or reinstate yung mga adjustment as much as possible. However, for PFRS for SMEs, hindi po yun required. Okay? Next, yung option to present the statement of comprehensive income. Statement of comprehensive income. So, ang statement of comprehensive income po is composed of your P&L and your other comprehensive income. Kapag full PFRS, required po yung two-statement presentation. Kailangan pakita yung profit and loss at saka yung OCI. Pag PFRS for SMEs, kahit yung P&L lang, okay na. Okay? Next is yung recognition of revenue from contract with customers. Ang sinusunod natin under full PFRS, you will learn this in your accounting for special transactions, is your 5-step principle. Maraming consideration kapag gumagamit tayo ng contract with customers. However, for full PFRS, yung simpler version nito, which is yung transfer of risk and rewards. Ibig sabihin, ito yung sinasabi natin na merong transfer of title. Okay? As simple as that, PFRS for SMEs. Next, components of other comprehensive income. For your components of other comprehensive income, mas detailed po kapag full PFRS. Bakit? Kasi publicly listed sila eh. Pero kapag PFRS for SMEs, lalo na kapag mapapakita mo na yung mga components ng OCI ay galing lang sa revaluation surplus, actuarial gains, yung mga simple lang, hindi kasama yung mga fair value through other comprehensive income, I think 4 lang yung required for PFRS for SMEs. Okay? Next. Excuse me. Next, option not to present a statement of changes in equity or option to present a statement of income and retained earnings. Under full PFRS, kailangan ka pong mag-present ng statement of changes in equity, while for PFRS for SMEs, hindi na kailangan. Income statement lang at saka statement of retained earnings lang, lalo na kung yung pinanggagalingan lang ng changes sa equity is galing lang sa P&L, dividends, corrections ng prior period errors, at saka changes in accounting policy. For non-current asset held for sale, under full PFRS, ang non-current assets held for sale shall be classified as non-current asset as held for sale if its carrying value will be recovered principally through a sale transaction. However, PFRS for SMEs, hindi na natin yun nire-require. Okay? And lastly, under your financial statement presentation differences is yung non-disclosure of operating segment of information and earnings per share. So basically sa full PFRS, required po na magpakita ka ng operating segment information at saka yung earnings per share. For PFRS for SMEs, hindi mo na kailangan ipakita yung earnings per share mo. Bakit? Kasi basically hindi ka publicly listed eh. Okay? Next, punta tayo sa interim financial reporting. Okay. Full PFRS, interim financial reporting guides the preparation of condensed financial statements presented for interim periods. While for PFRS for SMEs, the PFRS for SMEs does not include similar provisions. For financial statements, classification ng financial statements under your full PFRS. Okay? Under your full PFRS, ano ba yung pagkakaiba-iba? So, sa full PFRS, meron tayong FBOCI, meron tayong FBPL, while for PFRS for SMEs, wala. Basic or non-basic lang yan. Okay? Next, punta tayo sa investment in associate. Okay. When you say investment in associate, syempre that's 20%, 'di ba? Meron kang pinanghahawakan na 20% na investment, okay? Under PAS 28, investment in associates and joint ventures require the use of the equity method in accounting for associate investments. While for SMEs, pwede kang mamili between your cost model, equity model at saka fair value model. Implicit goodwill on acquisition. So, ito matututunan nyo po ito sa inyong accounting for business combination. Okay? So, kapag meron kang goodwill on acquisition, nag-acquire ka ng isang business, tapos nag-recognize ng goodwill. Okay? So, hindi ka magre-recognize ng amortization or impairment, but allowed po yung testing ng goodwill. Hindi nyo pa ako masyadong maiintindihan because you will learn this in your business combination. Okay? Next, punta tayo sa different reporting periods. Okay. So the different reporting periods is allowed in your full PFRS, but it should not exceed the difference between the end of the reporting period in the of the associate and that of the investor shall not exceed 3 months, but for PFRS for SMEs, it does not have similar provisions. For agriculture naman, full PFRS, bearer plants are excluded from agriculture and are classified as PPE. When you say bearer plant, ano ba tong mga to? Ito po yung mga matatandang puno na nagbubunga. Okay? Well, for PFRS for SMEs, walang equivalent provision na nagsasabi ng bearer plants are considered as property, plant, and equipment. Okay? As to measurement ng agriculture requires the measurement of a biological asset at fair value less estimated cost to sell. However, for PFRS for SMEs, it shall measure a biological asset on initial recognition at each reporting date at its fair value less cost to sell only when the fair value is readily determinable without undue cost or effort. Intangible assets other than goodwill. Okay. So, we have here accounting for research and development costs. So, pag accounting for research and development costs, natutunan ninyo po yan sa inyong intangible assets, it is generally expense. However, under PFRS for SMEs, development costs are recognized as are expenses in the period that they are incurred unless they form part of the cost of another asset. Okay? It also does not provide condition for capitalizing development costs. Okay? Amortization of intangible assets. So, intangible assets with finite or when you say finite, meron siyang um, sinabi na useful life are amortized. Okay? While and under full PFRS, kapag indefinite yung useful life ng intangible assets, they are not amortized. Okay? So for PFRS for SMEs, all intangible assets shall be considered to have a finite useful life. Ibig sabihin, wala tayong indefinite. Hindi tayo magre-recognize ng intangible assets na indefinite yung useful life. In short, lahat po ng intangible assets must be amortized. Okay? Paano kapag hindi po sinabi yung useful life ng asset? Okay? Pag hindi po sinabi yung useful life ng asset, you will assume it is 10 years. Okay? Pero again ha, pag full PFRA sa intangibles, pwedeng merong indefinite na intangible assets which is basically not subject to amortization. Okay. So after events after the reporting period. So under full PFRS, number one, declaration of dividends after the reporting period, it is only disclosed. For PFRS for SMEs, it is not recognized but are also disclosed. Okay? Related party disclosures. Okay, under your full PFRS, 'di ba, napag-aralan natin 'yan, na required tayong mag-disclose ng mga related parties ng isang entity. Okay? Kasama na dito yung short-term employee benefits, post-employment benefits, at other long-term benefits. Well, for PFRS for SMEs, the entity is only required to disclose key management personnel in total. Okay, yung mga kung sino lang yung mga key management personnel, hindi nakasama yung mga benefits nila. But for full PFRS, kasama po yun. Okay? So, very simple lang po ang SMEs, accounting for SMEs at saka accounting for full PFRS. Okay? But you have to take note na hindi masyadong ginagamit, to be honest, yung accounting for SMEs because most of the entities now are applying yung full PFRS. Remember, kapag ikaw ay SMEs, you have the option to use full PFRS at saka to use PFRS for SMEs, either or. So, kung gusto mong full PFRS, okay lang. Okay? At masanay kasi tayo doon eh. Okay? So, mas madalas, ang ginagamit po talaga sa practice ay yung full PFRS.